accidental, it was engineered. Every habit, every ritual, every silence, every punishment had a purpose. The city did not simply train warriors. It converted human beings into components. Sparta was not a city-state in the usual sense. It was a machine designed to solve one problem above all others: how to dominate without being outnumbered. A machine that required discipline, obedience, and endurance not as virtues, but as raw materials. And a machine that demanded a constant supply of something far darker than courage. This story is not about heroism alone. It is about cost. Because every perfect system hides its victims, and every machine, no matter how efficient, eventually reveals what it consumes. To understand Sparta, we must stop asking how its warriors fought, and start asking what had to be destroyed to make them possible. Sparta did not become Sparta by accident. It was shaped by fear, geography, and a calculation that left no room for softness. Unlike Athens, which looked outward toward trade and the sea, Sparta was landlocked, surrounded by mountains and fertile plains. This land was rich, and that richness created a problem. Fertile land attracts people, and people in large numbers are difficult to control. Early Sparta expanded aggressively, conquering neighboring territories not to build an empire, but to secure food and survival. The result was a population imbalance that would define Spartan history forever. The ruling Spartan class became a minority, living among a much larger population of conquered peoples forced into servitude. From that moment on, Sparta lived with a permanent nightmare. What if they rise? Every Spartan child grew up under the shadow of that question. Every Spartan institution was built to answer it. The threat was not external invasion. The true danger was internal collapse. Sparta could not afford disorder. It could not afford individuality. It could not afford dissent. The city's survival depended on maintaining control over a population that vastly outnumbered its rulers. That reality forced a brutal conclusion. The entire society would have to become a weapon. Other Greek cities tolerated debate. Sparta eliminated it. Others celebrated art and philosophy. Sparta discouraged them. Others valued flexibility. Sparta valued rigidity. Why? Because flexibility invites unpredictability, and unpredictability is fatal when you rule by fear. Sparta chose a different path from the beginning. Instead of trusting laws to regulate behavior, it designed behavior itself. Instead of persuading citizens to obey, it raised them so obedience felt natural. Instead of relying on temporary military training, it transformed daily life into continuous preparation for war. This was not militarism as ideology. It was militarism as survival strategy. The Spartan state reorganized time, family, food, education, and even emotion around one central objective: maintain dominance at all costs. And that objective reshaped everything. Spartan citizens were discouraged from wealth not out of moral purity, but practicality. Luxury softens discipline. Comfort weakens vigilance. A citizen who desires more than survival becomes difficult to control. So Spartan society flattened ambition and standardized lifestyle. The goal was not equality, it was predictability. Predictable men are easier to deploy. Predictable populations are easier to manage. Marriage, reproduction, and family life were subordinated to the needs of the state. Children did not belong to parents, they belonged to Sparta. Emotional attachment was tolerated only insofar as it did not interfere with duty. Love was acceptable. Dependency was not. Even time itself was regimented. Meal